Pocket kings. So decaf limps. I'm going to isolate. This guy calls too, so I have 2 callers. So these guys are all... So against these guys, I'm just going to bet small and hope they call. This is fish play 101, okay? So I'm hoping they float or call light. And then, not a great turn, of course. But now I check, and I hope one of these guys starts stabbing. That's actually a really good river. So, you have to think of likelihoods. What is the likelihood of him having a queen? High, right? What's the likelihood of him having an 8? Low. So I have to jam. Because it doesn't make sense. He's not going to fold a queen ever. Right? So you always jam. Sometimes you lose to an 8. And it sucks when you lose to an 8. But you always have to jam there because all his queen X is calling. And he has way more queen X than 8X. So it's really just combinatorics. You just always jam there. It's not close. Alright. Little fish play. Learning how to play or knowing how to play versus fish is the most important part of your game in poker for making money. All this fancy stuff you do versus regs is just window dressing. It actually doesn't mean much when it comes to making money. The majority of your money comes from fish. So it's important to know that. Me reg battling is not going to make me that much money. Or if any. It's window dressing, you know. It's enjoyable. Okay, so this guy's a fish. Against the fish, we bet small and then OB river as a default. Okay, perfect. Let's go huge. This is a standard fish line. So you always go small. You always go small. As a default, when you're playing against a fish, always probe them small in the turn to weaken their range, and then OB river. That's the best line versus a fish in that node. Now, it depends on exactly what type of fish. I'm just saying a generic fish. There's different types of fish if you want to get more specific. Let's continue. Oh, ace king. Great hand. Versus the fishes. Alright, versus the fishes, we size up. Okay, remember what we talked about. Fish over bluff in the check raise bet line. So we're going to let him bluff into us. It doesn't matter that a flush came. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you it doesn't matter. I'm telling you it doesn't matter. I'm telling you it doesn't matter. Oh, see? I was right. I was right, but I was wrong. I'm going to leave this hand in because this is a super important hand. See? He check raised with a king. He hit a 3-outer. You always call down there because they're merged. It doesn't matter that a flush came on the turn. He hit a 3-outer on me and I lost. This is the hardest part about poker. The hardest part about poker is making the right play and losing. So I'm going to leave this hand in there. Check raise bet from fish is overbluffed. I don't want people to think I only put me winning hands in the play and explain, so I'm 100% leaving this in there. I think that's a super important hand. Remember, fish over bluff in the check raise bet line. So you always call that down, even though I lost. I just got 3 outed, which is fine. Alright. Let's continue. I checked back here because I felt like his small blind range is stronger than normal. Or stronger, maybe similar to theory, actually. So I'm just going to bet small. Just try to get him off king, queen, ace 10. Maybe ace 10 calls, but we could just bet river, and then he folds. I think king, queen folds. Jack 10 suited, just to win the pot. That was actually a really good hand, because it proved that he was merged on the flop, because he hit a 3-outer, right? Now you could say, oh, well, maybe he doesn't bet the turn. No, he He's betting that the bet line, regardless if he hits a 3-outer or not. Because they bet merged. Okay. Here we go. Let's continue. Just gonna call here. So he bet small on the flop. That's an important data point here. So this whole video is gonna be fish play. 3 spots in fish play. Alright, so yeah, we still have to call. See, the thing is, here's my thing. The thing is with this, is the ace. Ugh. And he bets that. Yeah, but yeah, no. See, me having a 9's really good here. Yeah, no. This is not. This is a bluff. This is a bluff. That's a bluff. Alright, guys. Well, I think there were some good hands here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will be making a new video every Friday. I'm going to start doing this now. Every Friday, there's going to be a new video. 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can actually float more. Which is nice. Alright, so up against a fish. Or at least we have him as a fish. Let's see what we have. Do not bluff calls down light. Okay, so first thing you want to note. If you have... This is an important point. If you have air, you never probe a fish. Because if you look at check folding frequencies, remember, fish love to slow play, right? Fish love slow playing. So if you have air here, like let's say you had like ace 3 or like ace 4 of clubs, right? You never stab if they check to you, ever. Because he'll call. So like if I'd stabbed there, he would call with ace of hearts, king X, because there were 2 hearts on the board. So this is really important. When you're the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller and a fish checks to you, never ever stab with air. MDA principle. Also, another important point. If you are the out of position pre-flop caller versus a fish, like let's say I'm on the cutoff, right? And the button 3-bets me and I call. And the flop goes check. I check to the pre-flop raiser. He checks back. Let's say I have air. I just have nothing, right? And the turns, doesn't matter what the turn is. I just have nothing. You never probe turn there with air. Because if you look at MDA principles versus fish, they never, they under fold and overcall. So, 2 important points. Never stab air as the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller against a fish, and never probe air as the out of position pre-flop caller in a 3-bet pot against fish. 2 important points. That's good. That was a good concept. Good to go over these little concepts. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm recording the video and I scrap 90% of the material because it's not worthy of a video, right? So the only points I put in the video are stuff that are important. So what I'm doing now is I'm recording. Most of the videos get, I don't use any of the footage. But if let's say I make 10 videos, right? And let's say 2 of those videos have something worthwhile to talk about. Maybe it's 3. What I'll do is I'll edit those 3 videos and put it into one video. So that it's just one video. So now you have 10 videos in one video. But we didn't use the other 7. I think that's the best way to talk about poker because most of poker is folding, right? I mean, look at your VPIP PFR. Let's see let's say I'm at 25-20. That means I play 25% of hands. So 75% of hands I'm folding. It doesn't make sense to not edit your playing explains. All right, so here you could see bet. I'm trying to think. I don't think you want to see bet actually on an ace-7-5. Not a range bet for sure. Okay, so a little 1-1 soft flop here. We're just targeting king queen and king jack because they have 6 outs on us. Also, if you look at yeah, so yeah, I'll just check back here. I was like, can I really go for thin value? No, probably not. Okay, so that's important. That's important to note. So this job-less guy on an ace-7-5, what was the turn? 2, I think? Okay. Important to note. Checked ace-10 as single raise pot OP PFC on ace-7-5 2 run out. So that's important. So what does that mean? That means his probes are probably weaker than they should be. Because he could have... A solver would have probed that hand at some frequency. Or definitely ace-jack. I'm not sure about ace-10. Ace-10's closer. A solver would have probed a stronger ace for big sizing. Because you're targeting my kings, queens, jacks, and 10s, right? That I check back on the flop. So now we know that. So now, if I'm trying to exploit this guy in the future, I'll delayed c-bet less, but I'll attack his probes now. Now I'll call his probes. Now his probes, his checking range is stronger, but his probing range is going to be weaker. Alright, let's see. I like doing the one table because it lets you focus on... I don't like doing... I mean, when I play without footage, I play multiple tables. But, ooh, this is actually kind of close. I think this is a call, actually. Yeah. I think it's a call. If I'm looking at, I think that's a call. If you look at 20B, like I'm not a 20 BB guy. I don't play MTT, like cash games, so I don't really know 20 BB stacks. But if I'm looking at a 20 BB solve, I'm pretty sure King 10 suited gets in there as a call. Maybe the MTT guys can let me know on that one. Alright. See if we can get into some more spots. Alright, so this guy's like a knit fish type. The nitty fish type. Do I have showdown value? Probably. I think I would just fold to a bet here. He has a lot of ace-x off. That's the fish #1 hand, ace-x off. Alright, I guess we can go small. Yeah, I think he checked back an ace on the turn. Yeah, that's the most likely. Okay. Alright. There are some fish in this pool. 25NL Blitz Streets. Okay, so versus fish here, you want to play GTO on the flop. Now, normally you don't want to play GTO. But there's no significant overfolds. So, this is going to be a mixed hand. You can do whatever you want. Now, this is a hot spot. So, because he checked back, you want to delayed c-bet because they overfold in this node. Now, if he calls the turn, you overbet the river here, always. Because a lot of ace-high will call turn. Right? Like, ace high will call turn. So what you do is you want to put ace high in a tough spot, so you overbet river. That's another important point. If they check back on the flop, blind versus small blind versus big blind, your standard fish line should be delayed c betting and overbetting river as a default. As a default. Here, we're just betting. We over limp because he is a fish, so you want to play pots with him. So here we just want to bet geometric to get him by the river. So it'll be a pot-sized river bet. Easy game. Decent likelihood. Oh, I thought he was going to donk on me. I think he calls here like almost always. Because I'm blocking spades. Yeah, that was wrong. I was really hoping he'd call me there. It's okay. Alright. Some good points in this video so far. Alright, so in theory you always fold, but because there's a fish, we call. So this is probably a range bet here. I would call this because I think my implied odds are so high, and also if it checks around here and the fish checks. So if it checks around here, right, and the fish checks river, I'm turning this hand into a bluff. If he checks river, or if he bets small. Okay, so here, you overbet. Because we're bottom of range, right? So we're at bottom of range. He checked twice. Very important. You should turn your hand into a bluff in that spot. You don't have as much showdown value as you think because you're against two people. That's just very... You have to bluff that river. Always. And use OB sizing as a default. Because once the fish checks twice, he checked turn, now he's checking river, it's an overfolded spot. Alright, so here, I actually prefer calling. You can 3-bet or fold. A lot of people use the 3-bet or fold simplification, which is okay. But a lot of hands on the button don't want a 3-bet. Like if you have a hand like pocket sixes, ace 10 suited, ace queen is not quite like that. Alright, so this is really good for my range, right? This is a really good board for my range because I'm going to have all 3s, 4s, 7s, 6, 5 suited. So, because I have a heart, I'm going to bet. Because now I can bluff a 5 or a 6 or... So he's capped now, right? He's capped. And I get to bluff heart rivers. So I'm going to go... I'm not going to OB. I'm just going to go bet 77 or 75. And I would have bluffed a heart river. I don't expect him to call me too often on the turn there. Alright, versus a short stack fish, we're just going to overlimp. Because he only has 20 big blinds, so this is kind of a standard. This is kind of a weird spot. We don't really know. I actually think I fold this. You're going to be dominated too often by the... Yeah. I'd rather have a hand like pocket 3s here. Yeah, you're going to be dominated too often. Way too often. From the fish and the button. Same guy. So we have 2,400 hands on this guy, right? Still only 27 samples on the probe turn. But as a default, I'm going to be checking. because he's trending towards overprobing. Now, we don't know. We don't have enough sample yet. But he's trending towards overprobing. GTO for probe is like 33, 35%. Okay, so here you want to go... I want to go small. Actually, I want to go middling. I'm trying to target like under pairs. 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. Put those in a tough spot by betting small. Because I think any pair on the board is snap calling there. Alright. Alright, we've gotten into some good spots. I'm going to call this a video. I'm going to play one more orbit. Oops. Screen name Ninja. Oh, my second favorite hand, Kings. Alright, important point here. If you had, like, pocket jacks, you would jam. You would jam, because you want him to call with, like, 8s and 7s. But Kings is too strong to jam. So we just size up. It's too strong to jam. But if you have a hand like jacks, possibly 10s, or ace-king off, you would jam there and try to get a call from a worse ace, or if you have like 10s or jacks, try to get a call from like 7s or 8s. Because you don't want to play GTO preflop. You only play GTO preflop if you have no other information, right? So it doesn't make sense to just stick to your little chart. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you can bet big here. He's a fish, so I'm going to bet big. Alright. Wow, running hot. Honestly, sometimes when there's a bunch of fish here, I just open jam and just see what happens. I'm going to do that right now. This is a really good live play. Even though we're not talking about live poker. But the thing is like, you can just open jam sometimes. See what happens. There was 2 fish here, so he have to go through 2 fish. It didn't work this time, but I like the play. If they call you with like pocket 5s, it's hard to judge the EV of that hand because it like has to work almost never for it to be better than just raising. If I just open jam and the guy calls me with pocket 5s, I'm printing EV. Printing. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one.